but you know, it put into perspective how much like we can take for granted. To me, I, you know, I'm not a saint, you know, I've taken stuff for granted. I've done some things I'm not proud of. Some things I can't necessarily say sorry for. Not because I don't want to, but because I just am removed from the situations. But, you know, it's... I guess it's just life, man. Like, it is what it is. Like, you know, you can't, like, spend all of your time being sad about things you can't control. And I've done that. Like, most people have done that, at least to what I've seen. There's a big epidemic of just, like, doomers and shit. Not to laugh at if you are a doomer, like, that's you, bro. Like, I hope you get better, I guess. I hope life treats you better. But, you know, these days I see a lot more people just giving up, you know, not really striving for anything. And, you know, it happens, right? Like, you get a bad hand, you know, you hit the slot machine and you don't win big. But not to say that I've won big in any way. Like, I feel like I'm fortunate to be where I am in life, just to have the opportunities that I've had, even though, you know, I wouldn't necessarily have had a lot more opportunities than other people. Like, I feel like I'm either an average guy when it comes to opportunities or below average. You know, that's just how it goes. The one thing I would say that I'm, like, extremely lucky for is just, you know, where I was born, right? Being born in the country I am in, Canada, and being born in, like, a big city in Canada gave me, you know, a whole bunch of opportunities. Gave me good education, you know. Gave me a good childhood, I would say, you know. And a lot of things are based on, you know, a lot of things that plague you when you grow older are based on, you know, trauma that happens when you're younger, and, you know, what affects you during your developmental stages. Like, in my university classes, oh, sorry, I forget to mention I'm in university, subtle flex there, bro. My bad. In my university classes, you know, two of them were kind of, I guess, more psychology, psychology focused. And, you know, at least in the one that was, like, actually a psychology course, it kind of highlighted how, you know, your developmental years are probably the most important ones when it comes to who you turn out to be, right? And sometimes is that a fucking bear? Whoops. Sometimes it's, you know, genetics. You're, like, genetically predisposed to, you know, whatever. But a lot of it's also choice. Like, sometimes, you know, you make not the best choices. You know, I'm victim to that. You know, in the heat of the moment, you get too carried away with your emotions, and you say things that you don't mean, and you do things that you don't necessarily want to do under normal circumstances. But, you know, you can't really take that stuff back. Like, you weren't necessarily thinking irrationally, right? Is what I would assume. No one thinks irrationally, right? It's just that people think rationally to them in that circumstance, right? You think as rationally as you can. No one's perfect. No one's gonna, you know, have the answer for everything at all the time. Everyone's stumbling around in life. And all we can do is just, I guess, be there for the people we care about. And, you know, if we can't, then, I don't know, wish well for them. I don't necessarily have a lot of people that I dislike or have bad blood with. Sure, I can have my, like, petty moments and I can dislike certain people, but, you know, for the most part, if if you just most of the time you don't even have to say sorry to get back into my good graces. You just have to be human, I guess. No matter who you are and what you believe in, as long as you haven't done anything like crazy, like, you know, murder or, I don't know, being a child predator, it's not that hard to forgive you for problems that we've had. That doesn't make me better than anyone, I don't think. It just means that I don't know, I've always been like this. I've never really held a grudge for a long time. For the most part, all of my bad feelings about someone were transient. It's harder to get me to dislike you than for me to like you, right? At least that's how I feel. Now, I will say that, you know, sometimes I can be a bit headstrong. You know, I can be, you know, a little bit of a guy, right? But, you know, I don't know. I don't mean to, like, diminish any of the times that I've done bad or done wrong. Everyone has, you know. A lot of people have caused harm, and it's about how, at least I think so, it's about how you make up for it afterwards. That really matters. If you're unremorseful for the things you've done, it's just, you know, it's not necessarily the nicest. If you're just like, you know, you do something terrible, or you, not even something terrible, you do something just, you know, you slight someone in some way, or you're just like a bit too mean, and then you don't feel bad about it at all. It's just, that's when I think, you know, I mean, you can do better, right? Everyone can. Peanuts. Oh, what the fuck? 29%. Holy moly. 43. I think I might stay around here. Peanuts. I want some peanuts. Yeah. I don't know. But a problem that I have, at least with creating anything, is that, you know, I won't necessarily say that I'm a perfectionist, but no matter what I like do in terms of creating anything, this was true even for like high school things for me, nothing really felt like good, right? Like, people would tell me that it's good, you know, people would say that, you know, I can write or whatever, and like my teachers would tell me that. It just never felt like good enough. Like, I've always known, ever since, I guess, like grade 7, which is middle school, right? I've realized that, you know, I can write, I guess, in the ways that I can. I don't like to think that I'm necessarily better at writing than other people, but like, mostly just because, like, I don't like to place myself above others. I just feel like that's, it's just, you know, it's a bit morally flawed to do that, right? because you know we're all humans, we're all people, and we're just trying to live, right? Can't really fault someone for not being good at something, right? Like, there are people who, you know, aren't necessarily the best at writing, but, you know, stuff like that, and just any skill, really. Like, if you're not necessarily good at it, if you care enough, right, and you want to get better, after a while of just pure, like, you know, going balls to the wall, I guess, and practicing and honing your skills, you will get better, right? Like, you know, I'm not necessarily, you know, qualified to talk about life, though I feel like the most qualified people to talk about life are, you know, those who are like old. not like, okay, not to like disrespect old people, it's just that, you know, people who aren't, you know, 19 and in university probably know a lot more about life in the world than I do, right? People who are like maybe 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, right? I won't say they have it all figured out, because I don't think anyone has it all figured out. At least, you know, that's the way I think about it. Some people have it more figured out than others, and some people are more mature, but maturity doesn't I don't feel like it matters that much. I've never looked at someone and been like, oh, you're immature, I don't want to talk to you. You know, it's just people are at different phases in their life, and you can't really judge them for that. No one's perfect, once again, as I'm saying. Do I think that people are irredeemable, and there are some people that are irredeemable? Maybe. You know, people with like actual clinical like diagnosis of maybe like psychopathy, sorry. My bad. People who are like actual diagnosed psychopaths, and, you know, have the inability to feel remorse, and will do like serial killers. You know, I don't think there's any, you know, redeeming serial killers, because for the most part serial killers are diagnosed psychopaths and don't necessarily adhere to the rules that I guess a normal person would. That dolphin scared the fuck out of me, by the way. Like, it's nighttime and then some shit climbed up from the depths. Like, don't do that shit ever again, please. Like, I will cry. I will start sobbing on cam. Except not on cam. Except I won't be sobbing on cam at all. Like, that one was just a lie, I'm not gonna lie. But, yeah. You know, another thing I've noticed is that I guess this is about me. This is a bit of an egotistical, this whole video is about me, right? You know, I guess it would have to be, because, you know, it's my YouTube channel. Yeah, I guess, but, you know, I've realized that, or I've been forced to realize that, you know, sometimes my humor isn't necessarily all encompassing. You know, not everyone's gonna get when I'm joking or not. I don't know why that is. Like, I guess it might be just because I've submerged myself in the depths of like irony and sarcasm that you know, sometimes it's hard to even tell when I'm joking or not, and when I'm being serious via sarcasm. And, you know, for the most part, a lot of my friends in university, they've understood that, and a lot of my friends who've known me for a long time, at least in real life, have come to understand that, or have understand that, you know, from when I met them. Not to like disrespect or like talk down on anyone who doesn't understand that. Like, okay, I was gonna say it's not my fault, because I mean, it really isn't my fault if you don't understand it, but it's not your fault either, right? It's like, I guess, like, you haven't been confronted with people who just fucking lie for fun by being sarcastic, in the same way that I have, because, you know, growing up, jeez, this is my life story at this point. God, who wants to listen to this? I mean, you know, oh fuck, I need a crafting table. Come here. I made 2. Oh my. Okay, you can keep this one, villager. Yeah, you know, growing up, my dad, who I'm, you know, very thankful for, love my dad, the goat, he kind of instilled, like, my sense of humor and my, yeah, not fully, like, instilled my sense of humor, you know, I'm not, like, a carbon copy of my dad. Like, we have different senses of humor, and sometimes he says things that I might not laugh at, and sometimes I say things that he may not laugh at. I just tapped out, sorry. But, you know, apart from our differences, there's not going to be any like, I have a good relationship with my parents, right? I don't feel any kind of remorse that they're my parents. I don't feel ashamed of my parents. I don't feel any ill will toward my parents. Oh, this guy's bragging about how he loves his parents and his parents love him. What the fuck, dude? Okay, my bad. But still, like, you know, are they gonna watch this video? Probably. I don't think so. Like, I might show my dad this one, just because I guess it lays out my thoughts on things. I guess the only thing that I really, like, disagree with people on is like, you know, a lot of the time I disagree with, like, life views and views on how life works, but that's also just because I'm not like well versed in life, you know what I mean? I'm not some wise sage, right? Sage like Valorant? Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry, that was cringe. Anyways, you know, I'm not some all-knowing fucking guy who just has it all figured out, right? What the fuck? I thought that would be the entrance. For the most part, I don't communicate with people well, right? That's just a problem I have, you know. Communication is a learned talent, I guess you could call it. It's a learned skill. And, you know, I've always just been a silent guy. I've never had to, you know, tell someone how I don't know, like a problem that I have with someone. For the most part, I just don't talk about it, and then, you know, which isn't good, right? I'll admit it builds resentment, but as soon as I realize that, you know, it's my fault that I'm getting angry about it, and okay, that makes it sound a bit like strange, right? Because it's like, oh, it's your fault that you're getting angry. But, you know, it's like, I don't mean it in that sense. I mean it in just the way that it's my fault that it's gotten this bad, right? The level of disagreement I have with someone on something, or, you know, the way that I feel slighted by someone, and, you know, they haven't necessarily freaking learned that, you know, I don't like that too much when you do that to me, right? It's not their fault. Like, I haven't set any, like, boundaries or anything like that, which, you know, it's just not really me. I guess I could say it. Like, I don't really give much of a shit on how I'm treated, right? Except for people, like, I really care about, right? Like, my friends, for the most part, you know, we don't have very many disagreements, And when we do, I just, you know, I try not to have it go on for long because... Alright, listen. My thought process here was kind of like interrupted because if you'll see, I just die to a skeleton. So what I meant to say was like, you know, building a resembler for someone is just kind of like a waste of time, and it's also just kind of sad, especially if that person's like your friend, right? But apart from this, like, that's basically the whole like weekly slap type video. I understand that this one isn't necessarily like too structured or like there's no clear meaning behind this one, which is, you know, fine considering it was just me talking about life for an hour while also giving an update, and this is like the remainder from the update. But, you know, the next videos that are going to be posted are going to be different, right? There's going to be like a clear purpose, and they're also not going to be like 20 minutes. So if you skipped this one to watch the other ones, like, that's fine. This one started abruptly and kind of ended abruptly, which is funny. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.